Hello viewers, welcome to the channel. My name is Ayantika. In this video, I am going to discuss about William Shakespeare's play Julius Caesar. At first, I am going to give introduction about the play and discuss the characters and then move on to Act 1 Scene 1 of the play. Let's get started.
What is the play about? Shakespeare's Julius Caesar is a historical play and a tragedy. It is about the events surrounding the 44 BC assassination of Julius Caesar, who was a celebrated Roman general and a statesman. The assassination of Julius Caesar is just the halfway point of the play. That means the first half of the play leads to him being stabbed to death, and the second part of the play portrays the consequences of the ghastly murder. William Shakespeare is regarded as one of the greatest English poets and playwrights in the world. Each of Shakespeare's plays include the most diverse elements like verbal dexterity, as in clever use of words or clever use of vocabulary, characterization, and exotic locations in the form of setting. Now let's talk about the setting of the play. The play is set around the time when Rome was still a republic. That means instead of being ruled by a king or an emperor, Rome was governed by a group of elected individuals. The play is set before the rise of the Roman Empire. Okay, this is very important. We need to remember that at that time, Rome was still a republic. The play was first performed at the Globe Theatre in London in 1599 AD. The first four acts of the play take place in the city of Rome, while the final act is set in and around a Roman-controlled battlefield in Greece. Now, who was Julius Caesar? Julius Caesar was a Roman general and a statesman who lived from 100 BC till 44 BC. And we know that BC system is always counted backwards. Okay? Now, Julius Caesar was not the emperor, though he had all the powers to match any emperor. In all of Shakespeare's plays, he has created a multitude of immortal characters. In Julius Caesar, we come across characters that are not only intensely human but also strikingly realistic. So much so that we can feel every passion, every sentiment of those characters. Therefore, let us discuss the characters in Julius Caesar. First character I am going to discuss about is of Julius Caesar himself. In the play, Julius Caesar is a Roman general and the most powerful man in Rome. He enters in the play as a victorious leader returning from battle. The people of Rome even offer to make him king, and even though Caesar seems to enjoy his power, he refuses the crown. However, seen as too ambitious by the conspirators, Caesar is eventually murdered by them to protect Rome and its ideals as a republic. Next, we come to Brutus. Brutus is a politician in the Roman Republic. At the beginning of the play, he is worried that the people of Rome want Caesar to be king and to have complete power. When Cassius tells him that he is worried about the same thing, Brutus decides to join him in a plot to assassinate Julius Caesar. Brutus is convinced that killing Caesar is the right thing to do, but afterwards he is forced to flee from the scene of murder. His loyal wife Portia commits suicide because of his actions, and Brutus becomes more troubled. When Brutus senses defeat in the Battle of Philippi, he takes his own life. Now, Calpurnia. Calpurnia is Caesar's second wife. She has come to believe in signs and omens as warnings of the future. After having terrible nightmares and hearing reports of many bad omens, she warned Caesar against going to the Senate on the Ides of March. She also tells Caesar that his overconfidence is leading him to make bad decisions. After listening to her, Caesar agrees to stay, but later changes his mind and Calpurnia's advice gets ignored. Portia. Portia is Brutus's wife and the daughter of a noble Roman called Cato. Portia is used to being Brutus's confidant and gets upset when he doesn't reveal the reason of his worry. When Brutus eventually tells her about the plot, she gets worried about the danger Brutus has gotten himself into. Portia eventually kills herself after Brutus flees from Rome, out of grief that Brutus's enemies have become so powerful. Next, we are going to discuss about the members of the second triumvirate. That means Octavius Augustus Caesar, Marcus Lepidus, and Mark Antony. Now, Octavius Caesar plays a small but significant role in the play. He is Caesar's nephew and chosen heir. That means Octavius will rule Rome after Caesar dies. He is also an important friend to Antony and raises an army with him to fight Brutus and the conspirators. Octavius, along with Antony and Lepidus, forms the next triumvirate to rule Rome at the end of the play. Marcus Lepidus is a Roman general and a statesman who had previously been a close ally of Julius Caesar. He forms the second triumvirate along with Octavius Caesar and Mark Antony. Mark Antony is a general in the Roman army and a loyal friend of Caesar. When Caesar is murdered, he flees the chaos but returns to shake hands with the conspirators. He speaks at Caesar's funeral and proves himself as a charismatic and manipulative speaker who turns the crowd against the conspirators. Together with Caesar's great nephew Octavius, Antony goes into battle against Brutus and Cassius's armies and defeats them. Now, let's discuss the conspirators. We know that there are a total of 8 conspirators involved in the murder of Julius Caesar. They are all well-known public figures and senators of Rome. The names are Cassius, Marcus Brutus, Casca, Cinna, Decius Brutus, Trebonius, Metellus Cimber, and Caius Ligarius. They all want to murder Caesar in order to prevent him from becoming king and have complete power. Therefore, they work together to recruit Brutus and steer Caesar towards his death by collecting him from his house and accompanying him personally to the Capitol to make sure that nothing goes wrong with their plan. Before the assassination, they also separate Mark Antony from Caesar and the conspirators, and when the time is right, they surround Caesar, pretending to kneel together in appeal and stab him, sharing responsibility for his death and calling themselves as liberators. However, they were all forced to run away from Rome after the murder and they joined Cassius and Brutus's armies. Now, the soothsayer. The soothsayer is a fortune teller who warned Caesar about the ideas of the march. Lucius. Lucius is Brutus's servant. Although he is a minor character, he plays a significant role as mentioned in Act 2, Scene 1. Now, the tribunes, Marulus and Flavius, are minor yet important characters in the play. They are the officials elected to protect rights of the common people. We can see them at the beginning of the play in Act 1, Scene 1. Some of the other minor characters mentioned in the play are of Artemidorus, the senators, and the officers and soldiers in the armies of Brutus and Cassius. Now, let's discuss Act 1, Scene 1 of the play. Act 1, Scene 1 is important as it sets up all the characters, letting us know that opinion on Julius Caesar is divided and there is a plot to murder him before he is crowned. The play opens with the citizens of Rome celebrating Caesar's victory in war. over Pompey and his sons. The two tribunes, Marulus and Flavius, who appear in the first scene of the play, are elected to protect the rights of the common people. They are the supporters of Caesar's old rival Pompey, and they drive people away from the crowd by telling people that they have forgotten Pompey and must remember his greatness. The crowd feels guilty for its ingratitude and leaves tongue-tied and full of remorse. It is the day of Lupercalia or Lupercal, observed on 15th of February, which is a Roman festival promoting health and fertility. It was also a great public feast day, but the tribunes, Marulus and Flavius, were determined to remove any form of decoration from the statues of Caesar. Now, what is the significance of this scene? The opening scene or the exposition scene captures the attention of the audience, just like the opening scene in most of Shakespeare's plays. Act 1, Scene 1 introduces us to the atmosphere of strife and disharmony in Rome. In this scene, the two tribunes, Flavius and Marulus, point out the fickleness of the Roman people and how they welcome Caesar and celebrate his victory over the former hero Pompey. Both the tribunes are afraid that Caesar is becoming too powerful and might use his power to keep people in servile fearfulness. Here, Flavius talks about a trick used in falconry, which is a hunting game with trained hawks. According to Flavius, if people's enthusiasm about Julius Caesar's achievements and power is curbed, then Julius Caesar's ambition will not soar high, and he will become a part of the commoners and will not be able to subject them to slavery and fear. In simpler terms, if people's enthusiasm and idealism of Julius Caesar is suppressed, it will be like plucking out feathers from a falcon to make it fly as an ordinary bird at a normal height. However, these events foreshadow the upcoming conspiracies against Julius Caesar in the Senate. That's all for now, viewers. I hope the first video of Julius Caesar has helped you to understand the play a little bit better. Thank you for listening. Bye.